Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have another week-long journaling video for you guys today. I'm gonna try to knock out this recording pretty quickly. New York City is about to receive a very large thunderstorm, allegedly, and my building just messaged us to let us know we might lose power. Anyway, into this week's journaling video. This was a week in my journal back in February. It was the week after the Super Bowl. On this day, as I wrote in my journal, everyone slept so heavily this Monday morning. I think we were all just kind of feeling the excitement from the night before. But then later in the day, my roommate and I found the strength and the willpower to go see the Brutalist on 70mm, which was very cool. I always try to watch as many Best Picture nominees as I can every year, but how successful I am with that really changes year to year. I've never seen every single Best Picture nominee. I think the closest I got was the 2017 Oscars, the year of the Moonlight and La La Land debacle. The only movie I had been missing that year was Lion, I think it was called, and I could not find it to watch anywhere, and it wasn't playing in any theaters near me. This was a while ago. I think movie theaters now are really good about releasing, especially if you live in a big city, releasing all of the Best Picture nominees back into theaters before the Oscar ceremony, but nothing was playing near me. I was in a pretty small city then, so it was just like you saw it when it was released or you found it on streaming later, and if you didn't, then you didn't see it at all. This year, the Best Picture nominees that I missed were Dune 2, Amelia Perez, and I'm Still Here. I really wanted to see I'm Still Here before the Oscars because I kind of thought that it was going to sweep, so I'm sad to have missed that one. Didn't really know much about the first Dune movie the first time I watched that, and I had no desire to see Amelia Perez, so I kind of knew that I wasn't going to complete all 10 this year, but I got pretty close. And I felt really lucky to be able to go see The Brutalist in theaters on such a massive screen. To print out this movie poster, I'm using my new Canon IV printer. I believe it's the Canon IV2, and I really like it. I usually just use printer paper and print out my pictures that way, but this has been really convenient just for when I don't want to have to plan out all these pictures that I want to print out for my spreads. It's such a convenient, cute little box that it comes into. So yeah, we went and saw The Brutalist. I really liked it. I think it's easier to see those kind of Oscar baity movies in theaters with a bunch of other people. Sometimes, it is hard if you're at home to really give the movie the full attention it needs if it's 3 hours long. I think being in the theater kind of helps alleviate some of that struggle. And I really liked the intermission. I got to go to the bathroom twice. That was great. A lot of people bought new popcorn or new drinks. I think that's a great thing. I think if your movie is over 3 hours, you should toss a little intermission in there. I think it's I don't know, it works for plays. I'm never dying to get out of a Broadway play that's super long because there's always an intermission where I know that they have to let me go to the bathroom. If my voice sounds a little raspy or deep, it sounds really different to me. It probably doesn't really sound too different, but I'm just getting over a cold. I was traveling last week and I think I got something on that plane ride home because I've been battling for the last week or so, but I'm finally coming out of it. I just have that rasp that you get after you've been coughing for a few days straight. At the bottom of this entry I wrote that someone on Letterboxd had said in their review, "I can't believe I got tarred again," because they thought that Laszlo Toth was a real person. And honestly, I can't say that I didn't think he, I specifically didn't really research the movie at all. I don't like to even watch trailers if I can manage it. I really like to go in blind. And so I genuinely was yeah, this is a biographical film. And also, I grew up really close to Doylestown, Pennsylvania, so I had no idea that the whole movie essentially was going to take place in Doylestown. I thought it was going to take place in New York because of the poster. No, it took place half an hour from where I grew up. It was so crazy. I have a friend who still lives in Doylestown, and during the intermission, I was have I got a movie for you? Have I got a movie for you? I wanted to text her and be is this giant is this giant community center there? And then I've never noticed it. That's how deeply I believed that this was a real movie. I don't know if that enhanced or reduced my viewing experience. I don't know what that says about me.
I just wanted to say that there was a man sitting in the row in front of us who was speaking before the movie and during the intermission and saying like, oh yeah, and then he did this and he used this as his inspiration, and in like 1930 whatever he did this, as if Laszlo Toth was a real person. He was speaking with such conviction to his seat partner that I was like, wow, he must like teach a class on him. It was so bizarre. I don't know who he was talking about. I think he was a plant, honestly. I think he was put there by the theater because like that also convinced me that he was a real person.
But I don't know, like I looked it up after and was like reading about actual real life architects that they took inspiration from for the movie. So I'm like, it's not completely, it is fiction, but it's not completely fiction. There are elements in there that were part of someone's life. So I thought it was really interesting. I really liked it, yeah. And I'm recording this after the Oscars. So how my friends and I watch the Oscars is that we will fill out these little ballots and we vote for what we'd like to win each category, but then also what we think the Academy will pick. And I was really expecting a Brutalist sweep this year. It just seemed like that kind of movie where it would take home nearly everything it was nominated for. And it was a really good amount, but I was really expecting the Best Picture win, not because it's what I would have chosen for Best Picture, but just because it felt like that's what the Academy would choose. I was really surprised by Anora, not by the time that in the ceremony that it happened. I mean, after it had won everything. I guess I was surprised overall at Anora's sweep. I really liked Anora. I saw it in theaters as well. I saw it just like last week, and yeah, it was great. It was really fun. I was really surprised that it won Best Picture. My personal fave was Conclave, so I was kind of hoping for a Conclave sweep myself. I had so much fun watching Conclave, but yeah, I can see why it wouldn't necessarily be the win. On Tuesday, I finally finished the audiobook for Onyx Storm. Oh my gosh. If your audiobook is 24 to 28 hours long, that's impossible on a normal 14-day rental from a library. I was living in Onyx Storm. I think I said that in another video because I had to do the same for Iron Flame because it was so long. Onyx Storm was too long. It was too long. And I really liked Fourth Wing. I liked it in the way that you kind of like stuff that's a little more like, I know I'm not reading high literature or anything, but I liked it. I was engaged. It's always like really interesting to learn about the lore of this new universe, and I thought she was laying some really interesting groundwork. But I didn't even read Iron Flame that long ago, and I was going into Onyx Storm so confused and bewildered, and I had to read like a little summary website telling me what happened in Iron Flame, and I just read it. Didn't read it that long ago. If you're the kind of person who read it at release, it's such a long jump for people, and there's so much information, and everything sounds like it could be a place or a character name or a dragon or a language or an artifact. There's just so much detail, it's like hard to keep it together, and that book was so long. I think if I had bought the physical version and had to sit down and read it instead of being able to do what I did, which was like listening to it and on walks and like walking to class and like doing laundry, I don't think I would have finished it. I think it would have taken me a year. It's taken me a year to read the third Crescent City. I'm just now finishing Crescent City because I'm released from Onyx Storm. I'm now finally finishing the last Crescent City. I think I have like 80 pages left at this point, and I just kind of had to like lock in and start reading it because I have the physical book. Because audiobooks have made me so, I don't want to say lazy, but like kind of. But a lot of people, I think, were shying away from the Fourth Wing audiobooks because there's just like so much detail and so much to remember, and you want to be able to refer back. But I actually think that being able to hear like the author's pronunciation of things and like her character voices actually helped me keep things a little bit more aligned in my head. But yeah, I didn't love Onyx Storm, if I'm being honest. I don't feel any connection or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't feel invested in Xaden and Violet's relationship at all. I feel like Violet as a character has kind of been coddled in this last book. Like, the bad things that happened to her, she like it doesn't feel like, you know, nothing too bad. I don't want to say spoilers. I don't want to say spoilers, but I might say them a little bit. I think it would have been more interesting, really interesting, if she had been taken by, oh my god, I've already forgotten what they're called. What is the other word for dark wielder? Oh my god, I've already forgotten. It's been 2 weeks. Oh my god, what are they called? Hold on a second. I keep wanting to say veneer, but that's a Crescent City word. Shoot. Onyx Storm. I'm on the Wikipedia page. Venom. That's why I was getting confused. Venom. I think it would have been more interesting if she hadn't defeated Theophany. See how I forgot her name for a second too? It all of a sudden, it's like everyone was getting defeated left and right. I think it would have been more interesting if she hadn't defeated Theophany, and if she had to go with her off to wherever she was going and kind of be in enemy territory for a little bit. And like, I just feel like so much happened and nothing happened. And, you know, with the whole thing with Mira, I really thought that was about to be like a character defining moment for her. The audiobook narrator is putting in like such an intense performance where I'm like, wow, she's really selling it. Like this is about to happen, and then nothing happens, as you know if you've read the book. And just the fact that, like, you know, Xaden is like the one person who's able to overcome the effects of turning venom, and like the only thing that seems to affect him is that she's like, oh, he just got really mad for a second. I didn't recognize him. It's like, okay. I mean, no one else has been able to control themselves at all. And then he finally turns at the end of the book, but it's like, I don't even remember what happens at the end, actually. I don't even remember what happens at the end. Hold on a second. Xander's point of view. Right, yes, he like fully goes venom finally. But then she's married to him, yeah. Imogen has wiped her memory, right, okay. Taryn, yeah, see, yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, Quinn dies. I'm gonna mark spoilers so people can skip this if they want. Quinn dying. But then again, like, there are so many people in the squad, and maybe this might just be my problem, like, there's so many people in the squad that I don't feel like they really build up personalities very much. I think the most shocking death to me was the death in the first island, or sorry, third? Yes. The Tragan's death. Tragan is how the narrator says it. I think it's Tragan. His death on the island that worships Sinal, the god of luck. That one was really cool. I was there for that. I love when there's like a very sudden character death that felt like it was a very eerie setting. Like that whole scene, I was really creeped out and wanted to know what was going on. But genuinely, that was, you know, the only time that I felt that in that entire book. In 28 hours, the only time, or 24, whatever it was, enough hours, that was the only time that I was like really immersed, I guess, like really wanted to know what was going on and like felt suspense. And then everything else, I was kind of just like along for the ride. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading it. Obviously I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm not that picky. I'm gonna keep reading it just because now I'm curious about how she's gonna resolve it. Same way that I'm curious about, like, you know, how Akatar and Crescent City are gonna resolve, just because those series are both ongoing too. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all I had to say. Yeah, so that's why I did all the bird themed stickers and the washi tape. It's like, oh, it's like birds, it's like dragons for Onyx Storm. You get it. I think the author, you know, she's probably entered into a deal where she has to churn out these books in a specified timely manner, and I think that's maybe why the last two have felt so like unedited a little bit. I think, like, I hope that her next book they let her take her time. It's just like, it's so much material. She obviously has like this world that she's building that's very complex, and like, just give her time. Like, you know, there are threads that are gonna get, at some point we're gonna stumble into like a loophole that breaks everything if we don't let her take her time. So that's all I'm saying. Speaking of books that I'm reading, I am of course still reading Queen of Shadows. I have really slowed down with physical books, like what I was saying. I get through books so much faster just because I like walk so much, and like I'll listen to audiobooks constantly. So like I feel like the physical books that I have will kind of get left behind if I'm trying to like finish up a library book. But I've really been liking Queen of Shadows. I'm excited for the tangent read. Yeah, I want to basically get Throne of Glass kind of wrapped up before any like ACOTAR news comes out for the next book, just because I know that when that comes out, I'll be like full in on ACOTAR. That will be like all I do for like the next year. I'll probably like reread the whole series leading up to it, honestly. So I want to get through Throne of Glass, and I've been really enjoying it. You want to talk about like a world that I feel like is really fully built, like that's a good one. She really knows what she's doing. I'm also hoping that like eventually, you know, because I'm kind of in like light fantasy right now, really light fantasy. I'm hoping that this will help me bridge into like more intense works in this genre. I'm still kind of getting my brain warmed up to remember all these names and places and rules and lore and trade routes and diplomacy and like all that stuff. So I'm hoping that this is like kind of a starting point of like a much more in-depth and intense reading experience and like some other fantasy works. So Tuesday and Wednesday we had so much snow. So both times when I went for my daily walk, I was like kind of trudging through the snow. It's very picturesque. I feel like I haven't really gone to see New York too much in the snow. It's really nice to be able to experience it, especially because right after this week I went down to Florida for a trip, so I was getting like the two extremes back to back, and it was just really nice. It kind of like covers the grime in the city when there's fresh snow on the ground, and I feel like then I got to get on a plane and leave before it all melted and turned into sludge, so it was perfect timing. As I'm recording this, it's getting darker and darker outside. It's so ominous. I had to wrap this baby up. It's getting so bad. Here we are on Thursday. Ooh, new nails. New nails. Could it be that I recorded this after I came back from Florida and had my nails done? Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. I'm lifting the curtain a little bit so you guys can see what's really going on back here. Yeah. Revel in it. It's behind the scenes information. Thursday, I got into my ballet class at 4 a.m. that morning, and I like woke up just kind of randomly from a dream and saw the notification that a spot was open. I like laid there in bed and really sat with my thoughts for a few minutes and then decided to just book it because I had like mentally accepted that I wasn't going, and I was like prepared to sleep in, and then I saw the spot. I was like, oh god, I gotta go. I'm glad I went. I even said in this entry, I'm like, I'm never glad that I didn't go. Every time I go, I'm glad that I went. I am so sorry. My voice is it sounds so gravelly in my ears. This is my new white gel pen that I bought at a stationery store a few weeks ago. It works really well. I think someone had actually mentioned this pen in the comments of one of my videos like a while ago, and it is a lot better than the one I was using. It's the Uniball Signo. It definitely is a bit more like juicier ink flow than the one I was using before, so I use it here. I think it would have actually worked better if I had waited for that blue marker to dry a bit longer, but now I know because I just used it today in my normal spread, and I had waited like overnight to put the highlights on, and it worked a bit better. So just something to consider. So I have these little hamtaro stickers. I'm not even sure where I got them, but I have a pack of like 20 or 30 of them. I'm a huge hamtaro girl. I know there's Moomin plastered like all over my channel, but I also love hamtaro. The first video game I ever played as a kid was Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak on the Game Boy Advanced. Like, I literally remember where I was. My mom brought me to the mall and like brought me to, I assume it was a GameStop, and bought me the red Game Boy Advanced and Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak. The Game Boy came with like just the charge of it in the box or whatever. And I remember I was just like following my mom around in Macy's in the mall playing Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak, and it like died after an hour because it wasn't charged. And I was like, what the, like, I was like, that's how long the battery lasts? Like, that's crazy. And my mom was like, no, you had to charge it. Duh. I loved it so much. That's kind of like a puzzle game in its own right. It was really hard. It took me so long to beat as a kid, and then the boss battle at the end at like the castle was so difficult. But I think that was like the first game I ever beat all the way through, although it probably took me like a year or something. And then my next game was Pokemon Sapphire, and that was the first purchase I ever made for myself. I bought that on eBay for probably like $5. I would have been maybe 7 or 8. Bought that on eBay. It took like 3 weeks to arrive. That's how long shipping used to take back in the day. But yeah, I was so obsessed with the idea of playing a Pokemon game. It was like so immersive to me at the time, which is so funny looking at it now. It felt so real. And I remember on that one save, I made it all the way to the Elite Four, but I didn't know anything about type matchups. To be fair, like sometimes I'm still kind of like, I'm not sure. But I couldn't beat the Elite Four with like the team that I had through the whole game, which was probably all grass now that I think about it. Like I had a lot of grass types in there. I was so frustrated, so I've never beat them. I've actually never beaten them at all now that I think about it. I've never finished. I don't finish a lot of games. I'm like really bad at that. There's still one Nancy Drew game I've never, well, I'm not counting Midnight in Salem. I'll never finish Midnight in Salem or the Prague one because they're horrible. But there's still one classic Nancy Drew game I've never beaten. It's Treasure in the Royal Tower. Yeah, Treasure in the Royal Tower. Never beaten it. I've started it like 5 times. I just like can't get into it. It's too confusing. There's too many hallways. Things are slow. It's like, I don't like how you have to like wait. Like the ski guy is never there. He's never downstairs where he's supposed to be. I have to change the alarm clock so many times. That's like one thing. Oh my God, I'm talking. I'm getting. Oh my God. I'm gonna like complain my way into another sickness. Hold on. Excuse me. That's like one thing, one Nancy Drew game trope that I don't like. Only some of the games have it, but where there's like a time mechanism and like certain things are only open at certain times. Hate it. Hate it. I don't want to have to go to bed. Don't make me go to bed in the game. It's too confusing. It's not intuitive. Ugh, maybe this is my problem. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, okay. Yeah, I love Hamtaro. He's a great guy. I think like because I played the game so much as a kid that like when I see pictures of him, it like lights up a part of my brain that like triggers like childhood nostalgia. It's just like pleasant to look at him. You know what I mean? You guys ever have those things where it's like something you loved as a kid, you like look at it as an adult and like you're just like, oh, I feel a lot better now, you know? You know what I mean. So I'm currently watching Severance. The second paragraph is about like one of the latest Severance episodes, or the Severance episode that came out on this day. So the episode after the Ortbo episode. So don't read it if you are not up to date, although I don't know how you could not be up to date if you have been watching the second season, because it's been gripping. I'm just at a point in the story where I don't trust anyone. I'm suspicious of everyone. I don't know what I know or what I don't know. I love stuff like that. The last time that I was like actively watching a TV show that was releasing every week was Succession, and I missed that experience so much. It's so fun to be able to like look forward to a weekly TV show. Some of the excitement is lessened when a TV show will just like dump all the episodes on Netflix in one go. Although I feel like we've kind of been steadily moving away from that, which is nice. Like, I feel like when Orange is the New Black was first coming out on Netflix, it was like they would just like dump everything on Netflix and just like go and you could binge watch it. But it's just not exciting. And I love like going on Twitter after each episode and like people are like kind of like trying to think about what's happening. Also, like I don't have the time to like binge watch a whole show if it gets dropped all at once. So like I'll definitely get something spoiled for me, which is what always happened with Orange is the New Black. So it's like, yeah, I really appreciate like the weekly model, and Severance has been so good. As of now, well, I guess a new episode releases tomorrow. Today is March 5th, so a new episode will come out at 9 p.m. for me tomorrow night, Thursday night. And we had like a very lengthy, very like Gemma-centric episode last week, which just left me with more questions, I think. So I gotta know what's going on. Oh my gosh, and I forgot we're going out tomorrow night. Oh no, wait, no, it's fine. I figured it out. I solved my own problem. I finish work like right at 9 p.m. tomorrow. I'm going to go right from work to my friend's apartment. We're gonna watch an episode and then we'll go out. It's gonna work out, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry about me. I know you were really worried. Okay, woohoo, we made it to Friday. I think I'm gonna manage to finish this before all my power cuts out, which is awesome. Fridays are always my busiest day with work, just because like I'm at the end of the assembly line, you know, so it's like I'm getting everything from our editors and from our artists like at the very end of the week, and then I'm the one kind of doing the last step on everything and getting it all sent out. So every Friday is kind of like back to back to back to back work. But after work on this Friday, I went out with one of my roommates to a party in Brooklyn that was hosted by some of her friends. I feel like we don't make it out there a lot just because a lot of our friends live here in Manhattan, so it's like the need to venture out to Brooklyn is kind of lessened. But it was nice to go out there and kind of have like a different vibe for the night in the bar. The party was themed for Valentine's Day, which was fun. There was even a speed dating activity, which my roommate did. She always does really well with those kind of things. So it was like very fun to kind of like, after the speed dating, like so many people were coming up to her like to get her info. It's always so fun to watch. So I used this printer earlier for the movie poster, but now I'm using it for an actual picture. I will say it does kind of lend a bit of a filter to the pictures. This was taken like, you know, in the middle of the night with flash, so it already wasn't like perfect anyway, and it was already kind of blurry. But if you're looking for a printer that's going to be like 100% color accurate, I don't know if this is the one to go for. But I will say that like I briefly had a mini Kodak printer that I actually returned and bought this one instead because the colors were so bad. So I think out of like the small mini phone printers that are out there, this one's pretty nice. I don't mind the filter, like, you know, the filter look is like pretty nice. I thought the movie poster was pretty accurate too for what it is, and the fact that there's no ink, I think it's like a really good compromise. And again, I still love like doing a big batch print on my printer and like sticking in stuff all at once, but this is nice to just kind of be able to do things off the cuff when I want to be able to do that. They sell the Canon IV printer along with like a pack of 10 prints, so you can use that to kind of determine if you like the look or not, which is what they also do for that Kodak printer that I ended up sending back, which is how I knew I didn't like it. So it's nice that you don't have to commit to like 50 prints all at once. And that was a week in my hobonichi. I'm sorry if the vibe of this voiceover was like a little bit more off the cuff. Also, I'm sorry if my voice is like kind of gravelly or has a lot of vocal fry on it. It's not my intention. It kind of was like exacerbated by the fact that have been talking so much the last like 30 minutes doing this recording, but just bear with me. I will be back to 100% health soon. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. I have been noticing that my voiceover videos tend to get more views than my silent ones, which is really heartening to me. It's flattering that people would want to actually stay longer on a video and like are more likely to watch it if I'm speaking than if I'm silent. I kind of assumed that people would hear me talking and immediately click off the video, so it was really nice and surprising to have the opposite happen. I am definitely still getting accustomed to doing these kind of voiceovers and, you know, speaking clearly and speaking with like a point and a topic. It's not a natural skill to possess, but it's been fun to learn a bit more about it and try my hand at it. And yeah, thank you for participating. It's really greatly appreciated. So I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you again for thank you again for sticking with me to the end of the video if you have, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great one. Bye.